your issue about the Primal Beast into the Oracle, do you think you can go Primal Beast into Brood lane and run aggro from Spirit?
They're going to need to do something creative. What I do like about this Zeus, though, is you're going to get vision. And you're going to get vision onto Siamese Cat. That is the most important part of all of these team fights, because that's just going to enable Collapse entirely. So he's going to need to be really active on his use of the Fate's Edict for himself to be able to withstand all of that damage coming in onto the backlines from Collapse, getting the charge in. Don't have anyone else that's going to be able to connect quite quickly. You know, Mira, of course, playing the Tusk, but it's a little bit slow, right? Maybe you just get turned around upon. Yank attempt isn't all that effective. How many teams are there that it almost always seems like the position 5 is priority number 1? Like, Aster is absolutely one of them.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, you always go for these supports where he has an incredible amount of impact, and can we mention in the previous game, but he likes being the slippery fire that he can never be caught. So you mentioned the value that the Zeus can provide in regards to the vision. I think also there were some damage issues in the previous game where Puck can kind of help out. Even you have a good game, though, it can be very difficult to have that burst potential. Now, Zeus definitely provides that. Do you think there is a concern, though, that Zeus, compared to Puck, doesn't particularly deal with the Broodmother as easily, whereas Puck can jump in, full combo, deals with the Spiderlings, and then it can get out, whereas for Zeus, you need a couple Arc Lightning, then all of a sudden maybe you bait the Spiderlings, and then Tiny jumps and Marcy jumps. Do you think there could be a bit more of a difference with how Spirit can address XXS in this game?
Yeah, it's going to be a bit of an issue, isn't it? I mean, it does provide you a lot of ability to play around a Spider that might be roaming around in the trees a bit more, just with the lightning bolt on the ground. I almost wonder if Team Spirit are wanting to take this one super late, right? Because they're not worried about a Razor scaling into them. They're not worried about the OD or the Bloodseeker that we were talking about. And if they can get the Tusk with a Blink Dagger and even with the Aghanim Scepter, I feel like they can still make a pretty decent shot of this. You know, their high ground defense is pretty damn decent.
All right, well, we'll see if they're going to be able to get to that stage. Late game is enough for them to secure. With Aster, they have a scary lineup to be able to push the tempo. Tiny, that's always roaming across the map. The Broodmother to be able to give their own vision as well to set up for the pickoffs. And also, we've seen what the Shadow Fiend can do so far throughout the Last Chance qualifiers and the group stages as well.
Lovely little Ori Storm Spirit spray in the mid lane.
One of the few plays that was picking up at the Arlington Major. Have some incredible success on it, so it's only fitting. Of course, one of his favorite heroes and best heroes. So put Tiny very close to that as well. He's only gold tier Tiny, but don't let that fool you. This man plays a formidable rock, man.
Team Spirit need this win, even to potentially force tiebreakers. There's so many different permutations that could happen. There could be that 4-way tiebreaker or a single upper bracket slot, and there's still elimination tiebreakers even going on right now, I believe. These next few minutes, so one of the closest TIs we've ever had.
Only fitting, right, with the season that has been 2021 and 2022. These 20 teams, and we've seen everyone can take a map off it. The fact that we have tiebreakers for elimination, it really goes to show how close this TI is.
Yeah, no winless teams anymore. All about how close all of the different regions are, and it comes down to those clutch moments, those TI moments, those moments that make players stars to superstars.
Superstar?
Nah, not yet.
Not yet. What a loser. Wow. Dude, I'm a superstar.
All right, let's not get carried away with ourselves. You get one tweet referencing you and you think you're all that. Topside, Mode, he's going to be going into Collapse. I'm not sure how I feel about this. I think it is important to make sure that the Broodmother gets out of the lane in a much better spot. So the Fortune's End to be able to cleanse off the Frostbite and the slows coming through from this Troll CM lane are important. Is it more important than being able to potentially survive against a Primal Beast just running on top of it? Positioning's going to need to be on point coming through from Aster.
We're still expecting this lane to be very troll favored, even though it's an Oracle now instead of the Shadow Demon.
Oh, of course, almost every single lane is troll favored, right? So just got to make sure that you get out of it in a decent spot. I think they were
Dire's
they were a
middle
little
tower
concerned
is under
about how
attack.
the mid game could shape up if lane continued on for too much longer, but that early rotation enabling them to get the T1 tower just opened it up so much. So in a way, they're very fortunate, and they don't have the Leshrac this time around. You know, Shadow Fiend wants to be playing a little bit more defensively. Tiny, yeah, you can get kills, but you don't have that ability to convert that into another objective. So putting a little bit more emphasis onto the laning phase, so you don't need to play around the towers quite as much.
Does seem like Ori's off to a very good start, even though Toronto Tokyo is getting plenty of last hits. I mean, this mid lane can be relatively even between the two. Often that's the case when you're against the Zeus matchup as well. Farm's just going to be traded back and forth. No really crazy shenanigans of a solo kill potential. Probably going to be looking towards Monet in some trouble. Great toss back from Baboka, however. We'll get Monet out of danger.
Playing a little low on the regen. Baboka with his healing salve will be just fine. He realizes that they're going to be in a position to go for these dives pretty consistently, especially with the creep wave coming underneath the tower, but Monet actually drags it under a little bit earlier than I'm sure Team Spirit would have been wanting, so it means that they're not set up to go for that next kill. You've got the level 2 now on the Marcy. You might even pull him back underneath the tower. They're just securing a couple of range creeps and the melee for Monet, so he's going to be happy enough
This'll
about
come in
that.
handy.
Level 3 now, so have to be a little bit careful with where exactly you're looking to extend to Collapse.
Miro. Play. I thought Collapse was going to follow up. Try and hold them down with the shards, but Collapse is a little bit weak at the moment. The threat of the razors stopping him from following up on that Tusk opening with the shards.
Yeah, even just cancelling the razors as well, right? Showing that I've got the threat. I can bring the damage onto you and slow down the impacts of that trample. Not just the movement speed, but the turn rate as well. Constant tangos being given over to Monet, realizing that he just needs to be hitting these creeps with reckless abandon in the lane.
But I think the big victor is bottom lane on XXS. One last hit over Yutoro at the moment. They've done a really good job with the creep equilibrium. It's going to now start to favor Team Spirit again. From the Poshka, they shove the lane into Dire's towers. Will often reset and kind of bounce back. Toronto Tokyo. Oh no, he doesn't get some distance. Fairy Fire should be okay. He's got some bottle and even a water rune now for good measure, but very close for Ori getting that kill.
Close indeed, and they're going to be able to take away at least one of those water runes.
Dire's structures
Another wave, and he's a little bit ahead on the experience as well on Ori. So very careful now on Toronto Tokyo. Doesn't have too much of that safety
Bottom lane,
to play around.
Poshka's going to end up going down. First blood picked up again for Aster in this Broodmother lane. Victoria should be able to hit back with a long range attack, so we'll get a 1-for-1. But again, this is a lane that should be very favorable for Team Spirit, and they will, for the second game in a row, give up first blood to Aster.
And this time it's over to XXS instead. So previously it was very important to give that Shadow Demon the gold to be able to pick up that Demonic Cleanse early. But this time around, you're an Oracle. You don't really have this huge item timing. It's just about those small little value items that are going to enable you to be playing safer. Experience, but very happy to get that kill over to XXS.
Yeah. So how much of an issue it was in game 1 when XXS completed the Wraith Pact, and the lane that he's having and even getting that bonus bounty as well is just going to come out that much faster.
Poshka goes a little bit too far forward. He's got plenty of one charges to play around, and the raindrops, so it might be a little bit more challenging, but this cat with level 2 Purifying Flames, always a danger to start rallying out the damage if they feel they need to.
Might be in some trouble. Yeah, looked to jump in, but Monet wasn't ready to follow up. Tomasi will end up going down. Mira playing out with a snowball perfectly, but Monet finds 3 razors. He's going to be relying on the right clicks, and he said he'll turn to Mira afterwards, so they won't get the prime kill into Collapse's life, but at least Monet will find something out of this.
2 Tankos there to be able to get the kill. I think he did, just to be able to guarantee it and get back to lane that little bit faster.
I would like to see Spirit try and make something happen shortly. Toronto Tokyo has this Thunder God's Wrath. They want to use it as early as possible. Try and put it on cooldown, secure the kill.
Gonna happen with Mira playing in this mid lane though. He needs to rotate up top. moment the haste rune was picked up by Ori. Actually even going to pop it in response to this kill attempt. So still having the avenue once he drags this wave back under the tower. I'm sure he wants the siege creep to join it so that he can look to make his own rotation. Tanky hero like the Primal Beast can't be left solo up here for too long. Robica try and maybe even bring it back inside the creep wave, get them to do a lot of the right clicks.
Unfortunately for him, is will end up going down. Monade's going to start to try and pivot his attention over.
Long raise.
Long raise.
The sidestep like collapse, yeah.
The bottom lane now, XXS is in some trouble. Going to the ready for Quiet. And there it comes out the last second. Now with the extra damage, he'll turn to deal with Siamese Cat as well. He's got the haste to play with. Would love a kill onto Yatoro, but won't be able to reposition. So he's going to go for the kill onto Miposhka instead. But it might be lacking the damage, in fact. The combo's not enough for the Crystal Maiden kill thanks to the raindrop. So that is a big rotation for Lori that does not pay off.
And he's got to get back to mid. He doesn't have a TP. So when they made that movement, they got the kill. Toronto Tokyo just spams out the mid wave, and you've got a siege creep here as well. Lots of free damage going to be going into this. They might even pop an aggressive glyph here if there aren't any movements. Yeah, there they do.
Great call. He's even going to rotate as well, maybe to try and protect Toronto Tokyo, or more likely actually set up for the 8-minute power rune if they can give this to the Zeus. Launch to the 50-50 is not going to pay out in their favor. Ori once again with a power rune to work with.
But I mean, look at that mid tower. It's already at less than a quarter HP just off the back of a Zeus. This is not what a Zeus lane does.
Not at all. Bottom lane, Miposhka might be in some trouble here.
So might XXS if they get a lucky root, but the disarm coming through.
Wait until it expires. Beautiful kiting from Miposhka, making sure that he's just never in a compromised position as that top lane. 1-8, they're going to be able to snowball on forward, closing the gap instantly. Run the picking run as 1-8 back towards the tier 2 tower, but collapse. Just be able to close the distance onto Baboka with the long stretched arms, be able to slam into the ground.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Starts the game.
Not as well, they're diving XXS, alright.
Yeah.
So this is what we're expecting out of this bottom lane. Finally, the Troll has been able to get some distance in regards to their net worth. It's about a 700 advantage here for Yatoro over XXS's Broodmother.
Get so much more out of this early game here on Team Spirit. Kind of is the theme of this TI, right? When teams need the win to be able to stay alive, whether it be in the tournament or in the upper bracket contention, they just turn up. They turn that, that extra 10% coming through. And that clutch factor is so key. Just going to get the, feel the nerves once you come into it. Aster, obviously, they're able to relax, but Spirit, certainly not the case.
Getting the tower in the end is just so ridiculous with the lineup that Spirit have. Honestly, should not happen. Perhaps they're going to be able to get the pounce they do, but Volca stops the onslaught as well. Glap knew exactly where Aster were playing with the ward in the higher ground, but still will be caught out without looking to retreat.
They're picking out the positioning here from the Primal Beast as well. I think the Observer Ward scouted it out, but with him moving towards the top side, they know that he's made a movement down towards the Ancients, so be a little bit more cautious with Yatoro once he makes that rotation back towards the Ancients area.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
The beautiful game, Dota, is game of inches, very close to trying to maximize your potential to potentially find kills as well. I'll hold that thought as Ori should be okay. Toronto Tokyo is actually going to make him work for it. Mira's going to be able to cut off the path. Shot greatest positioning. The reason why I was starting on that thought is just with that kill up top on Collapse. Like, he knew exactly where Dire were playing, but you don't want to reveal the Observer Ward. You're trying to wait for the last second to escape, just so they don't think that there's a ward placed there, so we can continue to farm aggressively. And this is the beautiful thing that we have in Dota, a very complex game.
Don't know, can't hurt you, but pretty much the opposite case this time around. These Observer Wards are going to give them a ton of value on Team Spirit as they go for a smoke of their own. They know that they need to be playing around the fact that they might have this vision up here, and Mira's going to pop underneath it.
Look at the vision that Aster are playing with now. They see all of Spirit on the high ground. They're going to try and target down Siamese Cat. What a temple! Spirit! All the magic damage coming out at the end. And it's the captain that's rewarded with the triple kill. What a freezing field if Miposhka just cleans up.
Maybe even thinking, I wonder if they even baited that smoke, right? I think they might have smoked underneath the vision, realizing that they might have that, and they felt a little bit more confident to be able to make that aggressive move come through. As, yeah, again, what an onslaught coming through. And Miposhka just press RXD, and then he's able to get a nice little triple kill.
Oh my. I mean, see, Tokyo would have loved that. He used Thunderglods. You gotta wait a little bit. Miposhka's got the right idea to kill secure with the freezing field. Tokyo, come on, Zeus players, they need to. The R button, you gotta hold for the last second.
About the Rampage. Have we seen a support Rampage in TI? I don't think we have.
No, bottom lane, your Taurus. Doesn't have the battle trance leveled up at the moment.
Up back here.
Just really look at the wraparound, because Mirren might be able to get a +1. Shards will hold him through afterwards to enable the rest of the team. He's actually going to go for Baboka instead, plus XSS. Has that capability to always be able to fly on over. Since sort of the Broodmother, but that's a big killer. Great reactions out of Radiant, and Collapse is looking for another one as well. They might put some pressure onto the tower here. They've got multiple members nearby to protect in case there is a defense.
They lack the damage, and they're going to be able to find the Brood.
Slam into the ground, but Simon's Cat is going to be playing with at least the ultimate to protect the Brood for the moment. Very close to the tier 2 tower, so the rotation's going to come out from 1-8. Toss back closer to the Shadow Fiend for the Snowball, buying some time. And Mirror gets the pass on the target again. The push, let it go! Let it go, brother, let it go! Collapse can now go behind the tier 2 tower as well. Dancing into the tree line, and they will not catch up with Spirit. They've got all the answers here in this second game.
I mean, they know that they're just lacking damage on Asta right now. That's why they're feeling so confident in going underneath these tier 2 towers, because they know that the turnaround isn't on point. Now, as soon as Ori's not there, they just don't have that burst potential. They don't have the reposition. Even though it was amazing dispose, as well as a rebound, perfect spell casting coming through from Siamese Cat as well. It's just not enough. They don't have the heroes for it. This isn't the part of the game that your draft was playing for.
All right. If you're in Miposhka's position, a 4-1-6 Crystal Maiden at 14 minutes in, what's the item? What do you do with this luxury that he has, with all the gold, all the net worth that he's playing with?
BKB, baby. I want to see it.
Oh, and then you just, well, I guess you do get all that armor from the freezing field, so Shadow Fiend won't be too much of an issue.
Deals with the spiders, more farm for yourself to get your next item.
Oh, yes.
And they have no interrupts until you get the Basher on the Marcy. Going in Midas as well on Bobica.
Ooh.
Wanting to scale, maybe realizing that they are lacking that damage early on and needing to be that scaling core.
We'll see if Spirit can punish them here. 4,000 net worth lead, some really good wards across the map as well. In particular around this mid lane. See if they're going to wrap on XXS. Mirror's in a great position. Toronto Tokyo as well, moving on over. This is starting to come through. It's going to be Siamese Cat with the ultimate once again to try and buy enough time for XXS to survive the gank. Last the Goons have shown up. It's going to be Ori and Baboka with the wraparound. They're going to try and target down Toronto Tokyo. Kill at the moment, but again the freezing field. Look at the damage from Miposhka. It's going to be soaked up for the moment, but it will not matter as Collapse swings into the neighborhood underneath the secret shot. Miposhka's going to have the finishing damage onto XXS, and Collapse will also slam down the Rockman as well. What's going on, man? Spirit, no casualties, and Miposhka just the main reason of why they've been able to do these fights.
I want to see some of these player cams while all this is happening, because Miposhka, he must be having the time of his life. He's like, guys, no one's hitting me. I'm just able to get freezing fields off every single time.
For a second, I look over and it was the Fate's Edict blocking it, but it's like, no, it's soon expired. Miposhka just, again, all the damage. Again, another fight, he did the most damage. Oh my lord.
It completely, it's around these choke points as well, right? You can't walk back into it. You're already swinging so slow on the Tiny. But once you use that avalanche toss combo, you feel almost entirely useless.
Oh, they see 1-8 farming pretty far out up top, and Spirit in a position where they can look to try and close the distance, but instead he's going to go under the tier 2 tower, but Spirit, that's not a deterrent at all. Collapse is well and truly happy. He will finally go down thanks to the trample. Miposhka wanted the kill. Not gonna happen. Collapse up to a dominating streak. 7-1-4 as well for the primal piece. Night and day difference it is here from Spirit. Incredible performance.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
We really do see that dominance
Radiant's
come out from the
bottom
Primal,
tower is
don't we?
under attack.
Especially in the first 20 or so minutes of the game, but
Radiant's
it's
bottom
not like they're the
tower
greatest
has
BKB
fallen.
buyers, right? How often are you
Dire's
wanting to get it
top
super
tower
early
is under
on this
attack.
tiny? Of course, the Shadow Fiend's going to get it, but the XXS with his
Dire's
item
top
built, and he's
tower
going in
has
for the
fallen.
Wraith Pact again, which I believe he might have finished up, so at least there's a little bit of that damage reduction coming through now. Could be looking to go into the pipe because of all of this impact coming through from Maposhka, as well as, of course, being a good counter for Toronto Tokyo.
Dire's
Lane
top
Ori
tower
Chinese
is under
cat.
attack.
Again with the vision. Ori's in trouble. They've got the Oracle. Ori's playing off to the right side to try and buy him some time with the shots. Just off the mark, but that's where Collapse can come into play to help out with the sloppy mistake. Is now an easy kill onto the Oracle, and Ori will be chased down. XXS is trying to find an angle into the team fight, but with 5 members of Spirit, they'll be able to protect him and make sure that no one dies.
Oh, they were. Oh, is it Lightning Bolt on the high ground? Ooh, just off. Use the haste instead. To be able to get away, but still, they removed the Observer Ward freshly placed, and
Dire's middle tower
feels
is
like
under
Astra are
attack.
playing in the dark right now. Clever wards in areas that you wouldn't quite expect on the bottom and top side of the map, but that's not where Team Spirit are grouping up. They're going straight into that Roche pit, realizing that they've got the massive strength. Just one more kill, Ares. That's all we need.
Okay. 3-2-3. 3-2-2. Great position from Mira. And with the Observe Ward. Trying to hope he can pop a smoke, because Ori's at the ready to be able to jump into the blink, but they'll be too late. Beautifully done from Mira. If required, would have been able to block up the path. Had a pretty good game on the toss so far. 1-1 and 9. A lot of net worth to be playing with. Going to be closing on the blink as well, so he'll soon have this offensive snowball if required, or can even utilize it as a way to potentially start the fights and maybe block off one of the members.
Very disappointed in Maposhka. He went into the 4-staff instead, just being a good team player. I even saw him there putting his body on the line to be able to catch out any sort of smoke attempts, but I mean, you got a mega kill streak. You can't be doing that.
Come on. Get the goal back now. It's your one opportunity.
All right, what kill streak is he going to get up to?
Unstoppable? Is he unstoppable? I don't even know.
He's got a mega kill right now. I think he's going to get a
What's
monster
unstoppable,
kill.
is it?
Monster's 8.
Smoke from Spirit. Astra grouped up at the moment around their high ground. XXS in a pretty good spot to pop the smoke. It's actually going to be order they run into first. Bye Tiny. Not long for the squad. And look at Collapse as well, just recognizing his role. Going straight towards the back line, trying to push the Oracle in a defensive position. And off to the right side, FCS has been caught out as well. Chitoro, they've already called it. Alright, Astra, they've had enough. And a 19-minute GG call as Spirit just blew them up in this second game.
Victory!
Should have said mega kill streak from Maposhka, but very worthy. The 3-2-2 eventually did come in the scoreline, but it didn't come in the game, that's for sure. Astra not needing the other win to guarantee themselves a spot in the upper